So once again, one last glimpse comparing the two views of autoimmune disease, pathogenesis. On the left-hand side, we have Ayurveda, and on the right-hand side, we have the Western medical view. And you could see how, beginning from the leaky gut, they kind of run in parallel, but just using different terms. In Ayurveda, we have an Agni imbalance. Parallel to it, in Western medicine, we have a leaky gut syndrome, right? And then it develops into ama in the GI tract, which is that unprocessed, undigested food particles in the GI tract. And in the West, we have antigen-antibody complex formation, so that unprocessed food matter leads to the creation of antigen-antibody complexes that don't belong there. And from there, the ama enters Kaiva gunya through the circulation. Kaiva gunya is your weakness in the body, your weak spot, organ, tissue, or channel. And in the West, we have immune complex deposition, okay, which then both leads to chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation, which is this constant internal fight, your body fighting itself, leading to tissue damage. And, from this bird's eye view, you could see, you probably heard various practitioners, various approaches of naming any one of these key components as the root cause of autoimmune disease, when in fact, the root cause here, it's actually missing. It's actually missing. What we have here is a autoimmune pathogenesis that was triggered by what? Dosha implication. Okay, so let's take a look at the slide one more time. And where you are starting your autoimmune disease healing journey is at the step of tissue damage, then we have to go back the way we came there. We have to go back from A, helping the tissue, supporting the tissue specifically, B, controlling or managing inflammation, or rather leading a less inflammatory lifestyle. Then we go to strengthening our system that got affected, the channel that carried those antibody antigen complexes there. Then we treat the formation of that ama. Okay, we detox, we remove the ama from the system, help it move along, and we then strengthen our digestion, repairing the leaky gut. Okay, and we all the while are treating the implicated dosha that became vitiated and led to the Agni imbalance, or led to the leaky gut syndrome. Okay, so it's not possible to develop autoimmune disease without some degree of Agni disturbance or leaky gut, and therefore healing the leaky gut is where we start in Ayurveda. Is where we start the treatment, taking the foot off the gas. Okay, so basically it's a 5-stage process. And if you're watching this and you have an autoimmune disease, chances are it probably took you years to develop it. So this is not a fast process here I'm describing. However, for me, it happened very quickly because I understood the logic behind it. And then with that knowledge, I quickly upgraded all of my life to a life with, less toxicity, better digestion. So I was able to reverse 30 years of eczema in 3 months. And I was able to stay clear of it in 15 years because I understood the logic behind it. And this is what I teach you in the Heal Your Flame program, the logic behind it. Once you understand it, grasp it, then you can self-maintain. But here in this webinar, I will describe a 5-step process. And honestly, each of these steps should take about 2 months. So, if you choose to buy this webinar, download with the live links to resources that I mentioned, please give yourself about 2 months for each of these steps. Okay.